Hey guys, Luke here, and I've already given my thoughts on the New South Wales team. I thought it's only fair I give my thoughts on the Queensland team for Game 1. Now, there's kind of been mixed review of this Queensland team. Some people think it's really good, some people think it's absolutely terrible. Now, I don't know if this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but for me, I actually do think it's a pretty decent team. I think it's hard for Queensland because you're obviously going to compare them to previous years. You know, your Cameron Smiths, your Jonathan Thurstons, Cooper Cronks, Darren Locky's, Billy Slater. The list goes on. They've had some great players, some great teams, and obviously, it's not going to be comparable to them. It's just not going to be as good. That's a fact. But that doesn't mean it's not a good team still. And while New South Wales won the series pretty convincingly last year, Queensland won Game 3, so it wasn't a total whitewash. They did show that they can be competitive. Now, Queensland have made some changes from last year. Some were forced, like Billy Slater's retirement. Some were just due to form. I think we can now confirm the whole pick and stick that Queensland do was a bit of a myth. They just had such a good team. There was no reason to swap and change like New South Wales. This proves that this isn't a mentality thing. This isn't some culture thing. You're just going to pick your best team. I will say, though, there is one player who really seemed out of place. Moses Mbye, what the hell's he doing there? I watched him for a long time at the Bulldogs. I sometimes watch him at the Tigers, and I think, how's this dude even in first grade, let alone Origin? I understand in a game like Origin, you want a utility player. You want someone who can play a whole bunch of different positions. He can play fullback, he can play center, he can play in the halves, he can play hooker. But how many of them can he actually do that well? Just because he has the ability to play in those positions doesn't mean he's going to be effective in those positions. The talk going around before the teams were announced was that it was going to be between Moses Mbye and Anthony Milford. Now, for me, I think both of them will kind of be bad picks. Milford can only really play in the halves or at fullback, and Mbye, like I said, can cover a lot of positions, but he doesn't cover them very well. I just don't know that if, say, they had an injury to Kalyn Ponga or someone, putting Moses Mbye at fullback, I don't know if he'd be any better than, I don't know, putting a forward in at 5'8", and moving Munster to the fullback or something like that, just switching it around. Especially considering you're wasting a bench spot on a what if. They're banking on the fact that a half player is going to get injured, or a fullback's going to get injured, or a back's going to get injured. And there's nothing to say that's actually going to happen. I mean, it probably won't happen. And they've already got a guy in Ben Hunt who is a fantastic hooker in my opinion. I actually think he's a really good hooker, but he's not someone who plays the hooker position regularly. So they've already got their starting hooker, a guy who's out of position, and they're going to bring on a guy, probably Moses Mbye, in at hooker who also doesn't play there normally. I don't know, it's just a weird selection for me. Speaking of selections though, may as well just go through the whole team. So at fullback, this guy picks himself. We have Kalyn Ponga. On the wings, we have Corey Oates, and we also have Dan Gagai. The centers, this one's an interesting selection, although I think we all knew what was going to happen. We have Michael Morgan. We also have Will Chambers retaining his spot. The halves are Cameron Munster, and the captain is Daly Cherry-Evans in a halfback. The props are Jai Arrow and Josh Papali. The hooker is Ben Hunt. I think that's a pretty good front row, to be honest. Compared to New South Wales props in Clement and Vaughan, I wouldn't say these guys are big names, but Jai Arrow, he's an outstanding player, and Josh Papali, he always steps up at Origin level. We then have a back row of Felice Kafusi, Matt Gillett, and Josh Maguire. Based off all the team talk, second row was never really talked about too much, so I guess these guys just picked themselves. We then have a bench of Moses Mbye, Joe Offenham Gowie, David Fafita, and Big Puppy Dylan Napa. Yes, that's right, the Bulldogs have a representative player. Go us. Now going through that side, do I think it is as good as the New South Wales side? No, I don't. But do I think it will be a competitive side? Yes, I do. I think the side will gel pretty well. I think they've got a good balance. You got to remember, it's all well and good to have all these star players like the Blues have, but they've got to be able to play together, and the Blues do have a lot of debutants. And there's going to be all the pressure in the world on Nathan Cleary, who's kind of inexperienced himself and is out of form, and Cody Walker, who's a debutant as well. I think having Cameron Munster, who's won a premiership, he's played in grand finals, he's played for Queensland before, he's played very well for Queensland before, and Cherry-Evans, who's done it all as well, and also captains them, I think it's a good sign for Queensland. I do, however, think the centre position is quite weak for the Maroons. I think Michael Morgan, he'll do a decent job in the centre position. He's a big body, he's quick, he's played for Queensland before at centre, I'm pretty sure, and done a pretty good job there as well. But Will Chambers, I know he's just there pretty much because they don't have anyone else, I guess. For the sake of the Blues, I hope Latrell Mitchell is up against Will Chambers again because he gives him absolute nightmares. Although I think you'll find Michael Morgan is up against him, but I mean, he's out of position. Latrell Mitchell is an absolute gun. I don't know. I don't see it going well for the Maroons. Overall, though, a decent side. I don't think they could have made too many changes. I think that's pretty much the best side they can put out. But guys, if you disagree, leave in the comment section below. Leave who you would have picked and if there's any changes you would have made. Righto, guys, that's all I got to say about the Queensland team. If you did happen to enjoy this video, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's on the screen right now. My Facebook page is also in the description as well. I've been posting on that a fair bit more. Go ahead and add me on Snapchat as well. It's Mr. Luke on YT, same as what's on the screen right now. Anyway, guys, Game 1 should be a cracker. As a New South Wales fan, I'm hoping New South Wales get up, but you're watching a Queensland video, so I'm assuming Queensland is going to be here. So good luck for Game 1. Hopefully it's a good one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.